3 years ago, I couldn't finish a thought. I'd start reading something and realize I had no idea what the last paragraph said. I'd be in a conversation and suddenly notice I hadn't heard the last 3 sentences. I'd sit down to work and stare at the screen, my mind jumping between 17 different things, unable to focus on any of them. My head felt like a browser with 47 tabs open, everything running simultaneously, nothing getting done. Constant noise, zero clarity. I tried everything. Meditation apps that made me more anxious, productivity systems that added more complexity, digital detoxes that lasted 3 days before I crashed back into chaos. Nothing worked because I was trying to fix a fragmented mind with more things to do, more techniques, more strategies, more clutter disguised as solutions. Then I discovered something so simple it felt stupid. A 3-minute habit that didn't add anything to my life, it subtracted. And that subtraction changed everything. If your mind feels like it's drowning in noise, if you can't remember the last time you had a genuinely clear thought, if mental clutter is stealing your ability to focus, think, or just be present, this might be exactly what you need. Let me take you back to where I was. Every morning, I'd wake up and immediately feel behind, like I was already losing a race I didn't remember entering. My mind would start listing everything. Work deadlines, unread messages, things I should have done yesterday, things I need to do today, things I'm worried about tomorrow. Before I even got out of bed, I was overwhelmed. Throughout the day, it only got worse. Someone would ask me a question and I'd forget it by the time I finished listening. I'd open my laptop to do one thing and somehow end up doing 6 other things, none of them the original task. I'd be physically present but mentally elsewhere, thinking about the last conversation while missing the current one. People would say you seem distracted, and I'd deny it because I was always distracted. It became my baseline. I forgot what mental clarity even felt like. At night, I couldn't shut off. My mind would replay every conversation, every mistake, every unfinished task. I'd lie there exhausted, but wired, unable to stop the mental noise long enough to actually rest. The worst part wasn't the lack of productivity, it was the feeling of losing myself. Like I was becoming a scattered, fragmented version of who I used to be. My thoughts felt borrowed, my attention felt rented. Nothing felt fully mine anymore. I knew something had to change, but every solution I tried made it worse. I tried meditation, sat there for 20 minutes with my eyes closed while my mind screamed at me about everything I should be doing instead. The guilt of wasting time meditating created more mental clutter than it cleared. I tried journaling, spent 30 minutes every morning writing pages of thoughts. It felt productive, but all I was doing was rehearsing my anxiety. Processing everything made everything feel heavier, not lighter. I tried minimalism, decluttered my physical space, unsubscribed from emails, deleted apps. My environment got cleaner, but my mind stayed chaotic. Because the clutter wasn't in my space, it was in my head. Every technique required time I didn't have and energy I'd already depleted. I was trying to fix overwhelm by adding more to my plate and wondering why nothing changed. Then something shifted. Not a dramatic revelation, just a small observation that led to a tiny experiment. I noticed that my mind was clearest in one specific moment, right after I finished a workout. Not during, after. For about 10 minutes after exercising, my thoughts would slow down. The noise would quiet. I could actually think clearly. I got curious. What was happening in those 10 minutes that wasn't happening the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of my day? Turns out, I wasn't doing anything. That was the point. For 10 minutes, I had no input, no information coming in, no tasks to complete, no decisions to make, just space. My mind was finally able to process everything that had been accumulating, like a computer that's been running too many programs, finally getting a chance to clear its RAM. That observation led to a question. What if I created that space intentionally? not after working out, just as its own thing. So I tried something ridiculously simple. Every day, I'd set a timer for 3 minutes, and I'd do absolutely nothing. Not meditation, not breathing exercises, not mindfulness practice, nothing. I'd sit there and let my mind do whatever it wanted. Think about work, replay conversations, make mental lists, worry about things, whatever. No rules, no goals, no trying to clear my mind or achieve any particular state. Just 3 minutes of zero input. The first week felt pointless. My mind would race the entire time. I think about how stupid this was, how I was wasting time, how I should be doing literally anything else. But something strange started happening around day 10. The mental noise started settling on its own. Not because I was forcing it, because I was finally giving it space to settle naturally. Think of your mind like water in a glass. When you're constantly adding information, tasks, decisions, and stimuli, you're constantly stirring the water. It stays cloudy, chaotic, impossible to see through. Those 3 minutes of doing nothing, that's when you stop stirring, and cloudiness settles. Not because you forced it, because you stopped disturbing it. Within 2 weeks, I noticed something remarkable. The mental clutter that used to follow me all day started disappearing during those 3 minutes. My mind would process things, resolve things, organize things, all on its own. I wasn't meditating. I wasn't trying to be present. I was just giving my brain space to do what it naturally wants to do, process and organize information. Dr. Marcus Reichel at Washington University discovered something called the default mode network. It's a system in your brain that activates when you're not focused on external tasks. It processes memories, makes connections, solves problems, and organizes information. But here's the critical part. It only activates during rest. When you're constantly consuming information or performing tasks, this network never turns on. Your brain never gets a chance to process anything. You're constantly adding to the pile without ever sorting through it. That's mental clutter. And no amount of productivity techniques will fix it, because the problem isn't how you're working, it's that you're never not working. Those 3 minutes of nothing became the first time each day that my default mode network could actually do its job. And the results compounded fast. After a month, I could finish reading something and actually remember what I read. I could have a conversation and be fully present instead of thinking about 7 other things. I could sit down to work and focus on one task at a time without my mind fragmenting into chaos. My sleep improved because my mind wasn't trying to process everything at 11 p.m. It had already done that processing during the day in those 3-minute windows. My anxiety decreased because problems that used to spiral in my head were being resolved naturally during those moments of space. My brain would work through things when I gave it the chance. But the biggest change was subtler. I felt like myself again. My thoughts felt like mine. My attention felt owned, not rented. The scattered, fragmented feeling disappeared. Not because I did something complex, because I stopped doing anything for 3 minutes a day. Now, here's how this actually works if you want to try it. Set a timer for 3 minutes. Sit somewhere comfortable and do nothing. That's it. No special technique, no breathing pattern, no mindfulness practice, nothing. Your mind will race. That's fine. Let it. You're not trying to stop thoughts. You're just not adding new ones. Your mind will make lists of things to do. That's fine too. You're not trying to be present. You're just giving your brain space to process. You'll feel like this is a waste of time. Normal. The feeling will pass after about a week. Do this once a day, ideally at the same time so it becomes automatic. I do mine right after my morning coffee. The routine makes it easier to remember. Don't do it more than once. I tried that, didn't help. The benefit comes from consistency, not duration. 3 minutes daily beats 30 minutes weekly. Don't combine it with anything else. Not coffee, not music, not nature sounds, nothing. The whole point is zero input. Adding anything defeats the purpose. That's the entire habit. 3 minutes, no input, daily. After 2 weeks, you'll notice something.
After a month, you'll wonder how you functioned without it. After 3 months, you'll understand what mental clarity actually feels like. The first time I had a completely clear thought after starting this habit, I almost cried. I didn't realize how long I'd been operating through fog until the fog lifted. Most people won't try this because it seems too simple to work. They're looking for complex solutions to match their complex problems. They want a system, a framework, a technique with steps and strategies. But mental clutter doesn't need more complexity. It needs less. It needs space. It needs 3 minutes of nothing. The irony is that doing nothing feels harder than doing something. We're so conditioned to be productive, to optimize, to always be working on something that just sitting for 3 minutes feels almost painful. That discomfort is exactly why it works.
You're training your brain that it's okay to not be constantly stimulated, that processing time is valuable, that space is productive. After 6 months of this habit, my relationship with my mind completely changed. I stopped seeing my thoughts as problems to solve and started seeing them as processes to allow. I stopped trying to control my mental state and started creating conditions for clarity to emerge naturally. The 3-minute habit didn't give me clarity. It removed what was blocking clarity. There's a difference. And that difference is everything. Because you don't need techniques to have a clear mind. You need to stop doing the things that create clutter in the first place. The constant input, the endless stimulation, the never-ending productivity. 3 minutes of nothing creates space for everything to settle. I'm curious what your experience would be if you tried this for just 1 week. Not because I need to know, but because sometimes saying it out loud makes it real. What would change if you gave yourself 3 minutes of actual space every day? Mental clarity isn't something you achieve, it's something you allow, and it starts with 3 minutes of nothing. See you in the next video.